Hello, everyone. Welcome to Living to Learn. I appreciate those of you who are watching this video. Appreciate those of you who are listening on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast. I do appreciate your support, your listening. I'm sorry, and just any likes, any subscriptions to my YouTube channel. Anybody who shared any of my videos, commented. Anyone who's donated, financially supporting me, I just want to say thank you. It all means a lot. And it's very important that I, to have that support. So I don't take that lightly. And my last video, I mentioned that I had achieved a milestone. Right? I had recorded my 50th video since doing this YouTube channel. I've had it up for about going on 6 months. And we've actually surpassed another milestone in between my last video and this one, and that is I have surpassed 100 subscribers. So big thank you to all of you who are subscribed to my YouTube channel, Living to Learn. If you haven't subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it. You don't have to, but if you feel like it's worth it and you've been these videos have been helpful or beneficial in any way, consider it. But to those of you who have, all 103 of you, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much. It means a lot. Means a lot to be, to know that I'm bringing something to the table. I'm bringing something in these videos that people actually find appealing, they find valuable, helpful. And really, that's why I'm doing what I do. And so very grateful for that. So again, thank you for that, helping me surpass 100 subscribers. That is a big deal to me. And I want to say thanks. So we've been talking a lot about, failure, fear of failure, how to fail fast, right? The last video that I made, in just different ways that we can take our approach to failure. And again, it's something that is probably always going to have to be revisited as we continue to do new things. You're taking less risk when you continue to do the same types of things that you're used to. But for those of us who want to continue to learn, those of us that want to continue to grow, those of us who have our sights set on, higher pursuits, right? Things that we want to accomplish, things that are, again, beyond ourselves currently at the moment, meaning at whatever capacity I'm in right now, whether it's intellectually or financially, spiritually, mentally. If I want to go to a new place, if I want to go to higher heights, then that's going to require me to become uncomfortable and get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? It's going to require me to push myself outside of my normal boundaries, and that is the challenge. And of course, failure is one of those, one of those obvious, hurdles that we're going to encounter each time we make an attempt to do something like that. And so we're still on the subject of failure. And today's video is going to be focused around telling others about failure, right? Sometimes that's the worst part of it, is having to tell someone, right? Let's say you go and you have a whether it's a driving test or maybe a skills test coming up to get a job. I remember, years ago, I went with a buddy of mine, and we actually, they had a time test that you had to complete, and it was a 3-part test. You had to complete each part of the test at a certain amount of time. If you missed even one, you were disqualified. Okay, this was for an employment opportunity, and so we went. And I remember, I think I got through the first test okay, and then the second test I missed the time by I want to say it was about. It was something really small, like a second, literally. And that was it. I was disqualified. I was no longer a candidate. My buddy actually nailed all 3 tests and went on to to work for this place. I think he still works there today. I don't know how he feels about the job, but hey, he got it. He passed the test. I didn't. I failed it, and it sucked because I went there because I needed a job, and I was hoping to get this one, and I didn't. And sometimes that's the worst part of failure, is having to tell people. And I don't recall who knew in my circle, but I'm pretty sure it was, at that time, my parents, my closest friends. And, there were people that knew I was going to do this test. There was people that knew that I would have to pass this test, this time test at a certain time to get this job, and I didn't do it. And, it's uncomfortable, right? And it makes you feel bad. It makes you feel, a little bit less confident about yourself. I mean, there's just a number of things that happen, depending on what type of person you are, right? Depending on, how you deal with failure anyway. I mean, if you're already someone who's a little insecure, you're already someone who's a little, who maybe was never encouraged or really given any type of positive, uplifting, words when you were growing up. I mean, some of us grew up in some pretty dysfunctional homes, and so depending on how your spirit is, depending on how your self-worth is already, this can be very devastating. Sometimes this is the worst of it, because then you're talking about response as well. I mean, my family is pretty gracious. Nobody, no one laughed at me. No one called me a fool. Nobody made fun of me. No one said, I knew you weren't going to do it. Nothing like that. But man, I know there are people who, that's the stuff they got to hear when they make a mistake. And that can be tough. In fact, that can be almost impossible to overcome. And really think about it. Who wants to even deal with that again after you felt that? So that's definitely going to keep you from ever wanting to fail again. Right? Telling someone, having to talk about the failure. Having to be honest and say, you know what? I had a test that I needed to pass and I didn't. And we're going to talk about a couple of different approaches, right? So one of the approaches is to kind of look at what is the benefit of talking about the failure, right? So, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but there's this idea out there. So let's switch subjects right now. So we're going to talk about goals right now. So we'll leave failure alone. There's this idea, or this like frame of thought out there that if you tell people your goals, you're actually less likely to attempt them. Right? The more you talk about your goals, the more you talk about what you're trying to accomplish, the less likely you are to attempt them. And the reasoning behind that is that when you tell someone what your goal is, okay, it could be something simple. And this isn't simple. This is tough, but it could be something like, you know what, I'm gonna quit smoking. Right? Let's say you're addicted to smoking. You're a smoker, and you want to quit for whatever reason, health reasons, or you're just, you want to change it up, whatever your reasoning is, right? And let's say that's a goal that you are seeking to attain. Now you're telling people. Well, the idea behind the thought of not talking about your goals because it's going to make you less likely to attempt it is that when you tell someone that I'm going to quit, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to quit smoking. Because you are actually, because you're proclaiming that, right? Because you're speaking that, and you have, and there's positive momentum behind that, and you mean it. It actually gives you like a sense of reward. Actually gives you a sense of relief, right? Like in that moment, you taste a little bit of what it's going to feel like to accomplish that goal. Once you get a hold of some of that feeling, it's almost like you lose your motivation to even attempt it, right? And it's kind of weird like that, how our minds work like that, right? And if that is indeed true, I don't know that we all agree with that. You can put it, you can comment if you do or don't. Perhaps you feel more motivation when you talk about your goals. I don't know. I'm not here to say that is or isn't, but it's one idea out there, right? So what we do is we kind of take that idea, right, and maybe instead of telling everybody about our goals, maybe just tell a certain amount, right? Just a small circle of people, right? Like the people that knew I was going to take that test that day. It wasn't a lot of people that knew, right? And so what it did was it made it a little bit easier. It was still hard. It was still tough, right? Failure's tough. It is. But it made it a little easier for me to kind of just, talk about it. Hey, I didn't pass. And really, it's just a small number of people that know, right? So it's kind of like the whole, like, do we tell people about our goals? But almost like in reverse, right? So if we're trying to guard our momentum, we're trying to guard our motivation in accomplishing our goals, then maybe we should just keep it limited to a small amount of people, right? This is just a suggestion, right? If you think it's going to be helpful, because would it have been harder if I would have told 100 people that I was going to take this test and then had to give 100 explanations or 100 people finding out I didn't? I don't know. But maybe for you, that would make the difference, right? Maybe for you, that would make the difference. Maybe be more strategic in that. It's okay for us to get strategic and try to, and these concepts that I'm talking about, these ideas, talking about our failure, it's okay to take them and personalize them and do what's going to work best for you. If you don't have a supportive environment that you come from, I hope that you can find at least a circle, right? Just a few people that you would be able to confide in with your goals. Because ultimately, if we're going to try something new, the failure is always going to be a possible outcome. Okay? That's just a fact. So now we just kind of got to gauge ourselves and see, what can I do for myself that's going to work best to kind of ease that impact of having to talk about where I didn't succeed, where I failed. And I shouldn't even say it like that, because even when we fail, we still are successful in a way, because there's still something to learn. There's still something to take from that experience. In fact, failure, what we really should do is we should learn. And again, we'll get here. Some of us are not secure enough to get there yet. But what we should be doing is wearing our failure proudly. Now, it sounds ridiculous. Like, why would you be so afraid? I mean, why would you be so confident and loud about your failure? Well, what does the failure represent? Because if we know that it means we've just tried something and we were brave enough to try it, because we know that it could either be two things that could happen. That we would achieve our goal, right? And receive that reward and that feeling of accomplishment, of achievement. That's just gonna catapult us to more efforts, to more things to try. I mean, I think I said it in my last video, but let me say it again. All the successful people, every successful person in the world, everybody that you admire, whether on YouTube, whether celebrity, whatever, people that you are just in awe of, right? And I have people like that too in my life. There's people out there that I'm just like, wow, like what an what an amazing human being. Well, guess what? They've all failed countless times to get where they are now. They have all failed countless times to get where they are now. So it's really what are you ready for, right? Where am I? Because I might be in a different place than you are, right? As far as my being secure with myself, being confident with myself, I have a support system that I'm very thankful for. I'm very thankful. I'm very fortunate. I'm a very fortunate person. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos, because I feel like I'm so fortunate. I have such, so much that I've been given in life with family, with support, with wisdom, with mentorship. There's always been someone to listen. There's always been someone to talk to. There's always been someone to impart in me. Just because I was family, just because I was close. So I'm fortunate. Not everyone is in my same scenario, right? Not everyone has that situation. And if you don't have anyone, go on Instagram, follow Live to Learn, LIVE, the number 2, Live to Learn Coaching. That is my Instagram business page. And allow me to be that person that you can confide your goals in. I'm serious. You can send me a message and say, hey, Josh, I'm going to try ABC. And I'm going to say, go for it. I'm glad you're trying. You're that much better because you're trying. Now, if the result is success, I'm going to be there to cheer you on. If the result is failure, I'm going to remind you, hey, you failed. Wear it proudly. Because it means you tried something brave, and now you're stronger than you were before you attempted that. So it's a win-win situation. And if I'm the person that you need to reach out to, if I'm the person that has to remind you of that, let me be that. Let me be that. This is why I do what I do. Because I've been given a lot. Given. I didn't choose to exist in this country, in this family. I just ended up here. And I'm grateful. And so for me, I feel like, well, I got to give what I have. I got to put myself out there. I got to coach. I got to show people, hey, there's more to you than you think. I guarantee it. If you'll take the time to look for it, if you'll take the time to actually believe that it's possible, if you'll take the time to actually discover, you'll find out. But going back to what we're talking about here, wear that failure. Wear it proudly. Telling people we failed, that's a victory as well. We're building courage. Do you understand that in every single step, we are gaining something? We are learning something. We are building something. We are improving. Now, see, this is why I've been doing these videos about failure, because we have to look at it different. It can be our ally. It can be part of our strength. It doesn't have to be that negative thing we've always seen it for, unless we allow it to be that way. Unless we just want to stay in that place. And that, when it comes to that, I can't even help you. If you've just decided, well, I'm going to try it once, and if it doesn't go well, then that just means I shouldn't try it again. I've been there. I've been that person. And if I'm completely honest, there are probably still some areas in my life where I might still have that mentality. Afraid to try something new. But I'm aware of it. And I'm working on it. And it will be addressed. Because I want to wear my failures proudly. Because of what I know, what I've learned that they represent. Not a bad thing. Sure, it's a bad thing because I didn't get the outcome I wanted. But it doesn't mean I'm a fool. It doesn't mean I'm an idiot. It doesn't mean I suck. It doesn't mean I wasn't good enough. It doesn't mean I'm not worthy of more, of success. It just means I tried something brave. I took a step. I went out on a ledge. I put myself out there. And guess what? I got stronger because of it. This is what I want you to understand. This is what I want you to take away from this video and from anything that I do here on YouTube. For anything that I'm talking about. The idea is that there is always something to be gained. There is always something to be learned, regardless of what happens. And I think that's the right way to look at it, because things are going to happen. Right? Things happen. How are we going to deal with it? How are we going to look at it? How are we going to reassess and choose to see it different? That was a moment of silence to just give you a minute to let that kind of circulate in your brain and your heart for a little bit. We should be proud to talk about the outcome, however it went, when we're trying to do something new. You know, people are always going to have an opinion. It's hard to kind of shake off the label that people have given you. Perhaps they know you as this type of person, or you're this type of guy, or they put you in the categories, right? As human beings, it makes us comfortable to put things in categories. It makes sense to us. So when you start doing something that's out of category, it just kind of rubs people the wrong way sometimes. Sometimes I don't even think they mean to be haters, but they just don't know how to respond when they see something different. When they see you trying something that is just not you. Like, Josh, you got a YouTube channel for what? I didn't know you wanted to be on YouTube. I didn't know this, and that. Thought you were an account executive. I thought you were a driver. I thought you were this, that, or that. I am. But I am living to learn. That's why the channel's called what it's called. It was done on purpose. I am in pursuit to become the most excellent version of myself. I'm not there yet. I have made attempts at certain things and been successful. And I've made attempts at other things and have been quite unsuccessful. But you know what? This is what it comes down to. And I hope you'll take the same understanding, and I hope you'll apply it to your situation. The things that I did well and I accomplished, I'm grateful. That rewarding, that feeling, it's amazing. It adds to the evidence that I need to show myself that I can achieve more than I may give myself credit for. On the things that I've failed at in my attempts, at the things that I've come up short on, I'm grateful for those things as well. Because they've proved to me that I have the guts to try something different. And of course, that added benefit of it making me stronger. So I hope you take that to heart. I hope you'll take it serious. I hope you'll start to see yourself as that person that can do these things. Thank you for watching and listening.